Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into some really stunning testimony from military insiders who claim that the biggest secrets about UFOs, well, they might have absolutely nothing to do with aliens.
Okay, let's just jump right in with this quote because, wow, this is from Stephen Deigna Jr., a U.S. Army veteran, and this one statement just flips the entire conversation on its head. He's not talking about something from another world. He's saying this was ours.
So a claim that huge, where does it even come from? Well, for that, we have to go all the way back to 2001. We're in the middle of the Mojave Desert at a U.S. Army training center, and something really strange is about to happen.
So picture this. Sergeant Deigna is up on this 3-story observation deck at Fort Irwin. They're right in the middle of a live fire exercise, and then everything just stops. Dead halt. The reason why? There's this craft that looks a lot like a B-2 Spirit bomber, just hovering, silently, right over the range, totally unscheduled, which, for a piece of military hardware like that, it just doesn't happen.
And you think that's strange? Oh, it gets so much weirder. A few days later, Deigna claims he was stopped by a second, smaller craft, and this time he walks right up to it. He actually touches it. He says the surface was like polished onyx, but then it changed, started to feel like shark skin. And underneath, he could see this network of what looked like plasma conduits, almost like a nervous system. And get this, he said it was purring like a big cat.
This wasn't just some weird sighting, though. The personal stakes here were through the roof. Deigna says his wife was right there with him, and while this was going on, she got caught in a field of plasma and was just frozen, mid-stride. He uses the term stasis lock. Her body was completely stuck, but her biological systems were all still running. Can you even imagine that?
So after an experience that intense, Deigna came away with one single powerful conclusion. And it's the core of everything we're talking about today. These incredible advanced craft, they're not extraterrestrial.
Which brings us to this really important term, Alien Reproduction Vehicle, or ARV for short. Now this is key. Whistleblowers use this phrase to make a very specific point. They're not talking about actual alien ships. They're talking about human-made vehicles, stuff we built by studying and reverse engineering technology that was, supposedly, recovered.
So the big question is, if we're building them, who exactly is we? Well, according to Deigna, when he first saw that hovering craft, there were 2 men on the observation deck with him from the defense contractor Raytheon, and he claims they were totally calm, completely aware of what was going on. One of them even supposedly turned to him and asked, "Do you want to go see it?"
Okay, so let's pull back from this one incident for a second and look at the bigger picture. Because this story, it builds into this massive narrative of a secret program that's operating completely outside the law.
Now, a central figure in all of this is Dr. Stephen Greer. For over 3 decades now, he's been pushing for disclosure, and his claim is wild. He says he has briefed some of the highest-ranking people in government, only to discover that the very people who should be in charge were totally in the dark, and not just unaware, but actively denied access.
And right there, that is the absolute heart of the alleged cover-up. The idea is that these are unacknowledged special access projects. And what that really means is they're operating completely outside of any legal or constitutional oversight. We're talking so far outside the system that, according to these claims, not even the President of the United States has control.
Okay, but a secret program that vast, it's got to cost a fortune, right? So where does the money come from? Well, according to researchers cited in the sources, there's an estimated, get this, $22 trillion in the Pentagon's budget that is unaccounted for. And the claim is that's where the money's gone, siphoned off to fund these black operations.
And this really gives you a sense of the alleged scale of the secrecy. Dr. Greer calls it an inverse witness list. Think about that. The proof, he argues, isn't just about who's in the know, but the long list of top officials who've been denied access. People who should know, but don't.
So this all begs a huge question, right? Why? Why hide this amazing technology? Why all the secrecy? Well, the reason proposed by these sources is, let's just say it's both controversial and pretty alarming.
So the theory goes that the public is being slowly conditioned to fear an alien invasion. The sources call this a cosmic hoax. It's the idea that a potential false flag event could be staged using these human-made ARVs and maybe even robotic surrogates to simulate an attack from outer space. They even claim that many abduction stories are actually staged events.
And this is where Sergeant Deigna's personal story clicks right back into place.
After his encounter in the desert, he claims he didn't wake up on some sterile alien ship. He woke up inside a hangar bay, and he saw his own car being worked on, not by aliens, but by humans, people in full white suits.
All of this, all these incredible claims and testimonies, they build to one final urgent point from these whistleblowers, a call for other people on the inside to break their silence.
And the argument here is simple. A trickle of whistleblowers can be dismissed, can be ignored. But a flood, a torrent of people all coming forward at once, that can't be ignored. They argue it's the only way to break through decades of secrecy. You need a critical mass of insiders speaking up together.
Now, what's really interesting is the claim that new legal pathways actually exist to protect these people. They allegedly offer full immunity from prosecution and protection for their careers and pensions as long as they come forward and disclose everything they know.
And this all hinges on a really powerful legal argument. What about all those non-disclosure agreements they had to sign? Well, the argument is that an NDA you sign for an illegal and unconstitutional program is, by definition, non-binding and unenforceable. It's basically not worth the paper it's printed on.
So ultimately, when you boil all of this testimony down, it leaves us with one single, provocative question. It challenges us to weigh the supposed risks of telling the truth against the very real dangers of a rogue group operating in the shadows with world-changing technology.